everyone. Welcome to another episode of FTU Life After the Military. I'm your host, Tony Rodriguez, and today I'm joined by my good friend, Bryce. We were both SOCMs back in the Ocho in the 98 Civil Affairs. Bryce is still a medical professional. I am not, because I just don't care enough about people to do stuff. Let me put it another way. If you need help, I will help you, but I don't want to hear that you're 500 pounds and you're surprised that you had a heart attack. That's not my problem.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So that's the way I reference it. If you're injured, I'll help you out. But I don't care that you passed out because you drank, I don't know, 12 packs a day for the past 30 years, and you don't understand why you're dying all of a sudden.
Yep.
Not my concern. But I wanted to have Bryce on here because, as we talked before, mental health is pretty important to me. For veterans, my dissertation topic, I'm refining it. It's coming in. I'm focusing it now more on. My dissertation topic originally was a comparative analysis of Colombia and the United States on what factors lead veterans to join extremist groups.
Oh, wow.
Well, now I'm focusing on what mental health conditions lead veterans to join extremist groups. Because I want to look at the VA and I want to look at different organizations because it's important. And before we started, we were talking about how it's not just the organizations. There are a lot of us who just refuse to go get help for whatever reason. Maybe we don't know that we can get help, or maybe like me, I cannot do any type of medication, any drug. I have an addictive personality, and if one's good, then two must be better, and three must be awesome.
Right. The more the better.
Yeah, so I can't touch any of that. I have to figure out how to live my life one day at a time.
Wow.
But Bryce, when we were in, you were mentioning how you got the ganglion block.
Yep. Yeah, so I got I had met a friend that was dealing with a lot of PTSD type symptoms, and he had recommended, actually, I heard it through a friend, but do you know who also kind of started planting that seed was Mike from the refresher course.
Yeah, so Mike was actually, I'm going to have him on here. His schedule's a little hectic, but I wanted to get him on here because he just has a lot of knowledge to share with everybody.
Yep, I agree to that. And so then I started my, I guess you could say, trajectory for that when it was almost kind of like a bridge too far, right? So of course, we put everything off, whether it's injuries, mental health, all those types of things when we're wearing the uniform. And then what really kind of woke me up that I needed help was my family, my wife, my children. I'm married, 4 kids, and my wife was like, "Look, dude, I don't know what you need to do, but you need help. You just need to get help." And so I took, of course I took it serious, and I was like, yeah, I mean, she's probably right, because I could just see what my actions were, and it's probably not what I guess we would consider normal people do. And so I went and I first went to go get seen by the Traumatic Brain Injury Clinic, Intrepid Spirit, on Fort Bragg. I'll always call it Fort Bragg. And so as they do their patient workup, you start talking about all your problems, blah blah blah, mental health, referral, go to them, and then they're like, yeah, you would be a really good candidate for the stellate ganglion block. And so I got scheduled for one. You can interrupt me any time, because otherwise I'm just going to let it go.
No, keep going. That's fine.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So, good candidate. Let's get you, scheduled. Blah blah blah. And so I go and I get it done, right. And the first one, because I've had multiple. The first one that I had, I will say, was probably the most life-changing. It really, so I always, and I'll just speak from a personal sense because I'm not going to speak for everybody else that may benefit from it, but it's that whole like I'm ready for anything in a split second. I'm breathing from my chest. I'm high alert, loud noises, scanning rooms, looking for exits or whatever, and anything else that could, positively set me off. And so when I had the first daylight ganglion block, it really was life changing. What it does is that it blunts your fight and flight response. It doesn't take it away, right? Like, so if anything was to happen while I had my injection, that I was able to respond adequately. I wasn't on a threshold of like ready for, to whoop someone's butt because they looked at me wrong, or I don't know, whatever it may have been.
Yeah, no, like I said, we were talking about how there's some days I wake up and my anxiety is sky high, right?
Sure.
My blood pressure is 140 over 90.
Mm-hmm.
And some days I wake up and it's 115 over 75. And I've had people say, well, it's just because it's your diet. You don't, like, no, that's not my diet. It's not.
I mean, if you were 500 pounds, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but people are telling me, and that's the best part, right? Because it's always a veteran or somebody who was in the military. What's your diet? It's like, you don't even know what I eat. I haven't told you what my diet is. How are you saying it's my diet?
And they always follow it up with, take Motrin and drink water.
It's like, oh, you have too much dairy in your diet. Yeah, that's it.
Right, yep.
People have been drinking dairy for millennia.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now all of a sudden it's causing people to have this high anxiety. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So like you, the reason why I also opted for the stellate ganglion block was because I don't want to be on another pill. Military medicine, even I would say civilian medicine, it is a lot of pill pushing, right? Like, hey, well, this will, probably help you out. And it might give you other signs or symptoms. And I'm not saying all medication is bad. Don't mishear what I'm saying. It's just my personality. I knew I didn't want to be on another pill or something that would take away what makes me me, right? Like, that's my wife's biggest thing. Is she's like, well, if because I've tried different medications. I have tried, right? Because I did need something. So I tried, but she's like, dude, you're a robot. Like, you wake up, you do your things, and then there's no Bryce. There's just no, cracking up or giving somebody a hard time or, being fun. Go away. And then, sorry, my dogs. So I had to get, that's why I opted for the stellate ganglion block. And like I said, the first one was great. Subsequent ones, not so great. I do believe that it is the doctor who does them. It'll be dependent, right? Like, I get the lady that did mine, just how everything went, how proficient she was, how, like, everything, it was just perfect. The subsequent ones, it lasted, it's supposed to give you relief. Everybody's different, right? But you should get well past 8 weeks of relief from that whole fight or flight, kind of being just super alert and ready to, fight or whatever. So yeah, that's why I opted for the stellate ganglion block, because I didn't want to take another pill.
Yeah, no, I was doing a little bit of research on that, and was reading that it works for some people, and other people it just won't work at all.
Yeah,
like all medicine, There's that's what you see. That's the other reason why I don't want to practice medicine anymore, was because people think that, well, I mean, you just give me a pill or just do this and that'll fix it, right? It's like,
yeah,
not necessarily. It's like,
but it's true. It's because you have, like, it's the whole thing, right? Like, the stellate ganglion block wasn't this miraculous thing to where everything just went better, and then, not go to counseling, or not go, or live a healthier lifestyle, or even like whatever it may be that makes you, whatever you don't like about yourself or what's wrong, and you're trying to identify the, you know, the problem and issue, and solve and fix it, like that work still has to go into it. But
Yeah.
it's just, that's the stellate ganglion block is just a means of kind of assisting in that period of time where you're trying to get better to a place where you want to be. And so, like, you know, we were talking before that, you know, there's so many different organizations. I believe I can't name all of them for you, but I was a benefactor, or is that I benefited from the from some rich dude that loves veterans, started an organization. He specifically targets special operations soldiers, whether if you're a support guy or if you're, you know, a really cool guy that you can't Google, with PTSD treatment. And so I was fortunate enough to get a treatment where it was low dose ketamine infusions and stellate ganglion blocks together, and that was in right outside Chicago, at a, you know, a super nice pain clinic thing. It was weird, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
whatever. But I was grateful because one of my biggest things too that I hated and still don't like is my memory, right? Like all the times that explosions hitting my head or whatever it may be, my memory just seems to be kind of trash. And I've lost a lot of, you know, I mean, dude, it's not as bad, but it still sucks. But like when I did that treatment, I was able to remember certain things. I was able to think clearer. But here's the thing though, right? And they're like, and it's patient dependent. And they're like, hey, this could be a one-time thing, but you may need to come back to us in the future. And that kind of sucks. And so, like, I did do it, and has everything wore off? Yeah, right? I mean, it has, like, but I am grateful for the treatment that I did receive. It's knowing and understanding that what you do, especially if it's outside the realm of your inner being, right? Like, and I mean, medication, injections, whatever it may be, that you, at an individual level, the work to become better or happier with yourself, it just doesn't seem to stop. But it's a great endeavor because, I don't know, you're worth it, right?
Yeah, and you bring up a good point about being happy with yourself, and that's important that's different for everyone.
Sure.
There's no set standard, right? You know, in the Army, it's always, here's your grading criteria, you know, you got a whatever percentage, right? And which is always made up bullshit nonsense. But, you know, we were talking before, like, I told Bryce, like, yeah, I'm going to go to Bosley. I'm going to get some new hair.
Yeah.
And if people don't understand why, it's like, well, take a gander at this.
Oh, he's
like,
doing it. There it is.
Because, well, I've done episodes without my cap, so it's like, but there's
Oh,
nothing
see, I was
here.
going to say, you may have just lost some listeners.
No. No, I mean, my family have told me, like, Dad, you have a face made for radio.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And you have a voice made for silent film.
Yeah.
All right. So if my own
And you're
family,
going to show them both.
and if my family's telling me this, and I mean, do you think I really care about what other, like, I'm not worried about pleasing the rest of the world or taking care of the rest of the world anymore. I just want
Sure.
to live my life and be happy.
Sure.
As happy as I can be, right? And the doc today was asking me, like, well, why are you doing this? It's like, because I want to. He's like, well, yeah, but I mean, do you have a reason? It's like, I have the money and I'd like to do it. And I explained to him, it's like, I'm not in the Army anymore. I retired. And I don't explain myself to anyone anymore. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that. It's like, because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to explain myself. I don't have to justify myself to people anymore. Sometimes I still fall into that trap.
Mm.
It's usually when I meet, I saw Kenny the other day, right? And,
Kenny, Kenny,
yeah, we were
Okay.
talking, and I saw him, and he was with two officers, right? And he was talking, yeah, he has a podcast, and they were asking me questions. So I was explaining myself to those young captains, not because I wanted to, and not because I felt like I needed to, but because I didn't want to embarrass Kenny.
Okay.
Because I wanted to tell those guys, Pat's sad. Like, go, like, who are you? Like,
Yeah, right.
Go away. It's like, how many listeners, how many subscribers do you have? It's like, you're a moron. You're an idiot. It's like, that's not how this works at all, dude. Like, I don't care about that. I'm not on TikTok doing dances, right? Trying to.
But maybe you should try though.
I'm not on OnlyFans.
That's funny.
I do have advertisers, but the way this podcast works, the way the people I work with, it's not based off of subscribers. It's based off of how many downloads and how many people listen.
Sure.
If you listen for 1 second, that counts as somebody listening.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's all that matters. They don't care how many subscribers I have.
Yeah.
I could have 1 million subscribers, but nobody ever downloads it or listens.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so that's, and I'm not basically make enough to buy like a few lattes every month. That's it. That's what I'm raking in here.
Hey man, I'm just gonna say, them lattes are getting expensive, dude.
Yeah.
So
it's going down the number I can buy.
yeah. I used to be able to, and now I can, 1.5.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go get some new hair, and why not? I mean,
So are you gonna, just because I know there's a listener out there that's gonna, is wondering the same thing I am, are you just gonna mad clown grow the sides out before the procedure?
No, and that's what I thought, right? Because like I said, people have this idea that you walk in completely bald and then you walk out like looking like Brad Pitt from Troy, right? Legends of the Fall. Like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Facts.
There's multiple procedures, right? And he told me, it's like, wow, if you would have come in earlier, we could have saved what you had. It's like, yeah, well, that ship has sailed. That was a decade and a half ago, buddy.
Oh, sure.
And so he was saying, like, there's 2 procedures that they can do. They can take the follicle one at a time, basically, from the side, and then put it up on top. Or they could take a strip, right? And then they could do like we were talking about, like sod, right? You take a piece of sod or a skin graft, and then you stretch it out, right?
Right.
And that's what they'll do with the strip. But he was saying that leaves a scar.
Oh.
Right? So they have to stitch it up, and it takes a little bit longer to heal. He said if they do the strip, they like it to be grown out a little bit.
Okay.
But if they do just the single hair at a time, he's like, no, we actually want you to shave the sides in the back with the 1. Go to the barber and say, hey, I want you to buzz it with the 1, because it makes it easier for the doc to go in there and grab it. They're not sorting through a bunch of like the Amazon, the rainforest.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because they go in and they grab each follicle 1 at a time.
Yeah, that's funky, dude.
And he said, you show up at 7:30. We start about 7:30. Depending on you, you could be out of here at 3, 4, maybe up to 6. It's like, so I'm going to be out of here probably about 6 or 7. He's like, well, yeah, I don't want to say that. It's like,
y'all work until midnight.
We don't have to beat around the bush. I know I'm bald, right?
Yeah.
I'm 5'7". I'm fat. I'm bald. I know this. It isn't top secret information.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so I can't do anything about my height unless I'm going to have people like pull me from my neck and my feet.
Yeah.
That sounds a little painful, so no. Or go have that messy surgery where they break your legs and then
graft in bone.
Well, they don't graft it in, but they break it and they space it up away from each other a little bit.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the bone grows in.
Yeah.
But they said it's so painful, and you're only going to add like a quarter of an inch, maybe an inch at the most. It's like, forget it, dude. Like, no.
Really? Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And it's like, so, but maybe I can do something about my weight. Maybe I don't have to be obese. Maybe I can just be fat. And
Is that's the goal? Is don't be obese.
So And this is the thing, right? Because you're laughing.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is on my last podcast, right? This is a large, right? This is
Okay.
a large sweatshirt, and it fits pretty good. Not too big. When I was in Alabama for Christmas, we went and I bought a shirt, a polo, right? And I picked up an extra large because I'm in between a large and a large fits right. That's the way it's supposed to fit.
Right.
And sometimes I want it a little bit bigger. And so I picked up an extra large, and it was like, came out here, right? It was like this far. I'm like,
Yeah.
this doesn't look right. Mm-hmm. Because an extra large is usually about just a little bit further, not out here.
Oh yeah.
So I got a large. I was like, well, it still looks big. I ended up getting a small,
No way.
an Alabama small.
Alabama small.
Because what these companies are doing is they realize that people are no longer just fat, they're now obese.
Oh
instead
my
of,
gosh.
So instead of
dude.
making somebody feel bad about themselves because they have to go get a triple extra large, let's just change all the sizes.
No way.
So I brought some brick shorts back in, I forgot what year it was, but they were extra large, right? And then I liked them so much. I have a bunch of running shirts, but I have a bunch of bricks, right? So I decided I want to buy another pair, and I waited about a year. So I'm going to buy this pair. Bought an extra large. They were way too big. They went down to my knees. They
What?
were like the 5-inch running shorts. They were supposed to be like maybe a third of the way down to my quads, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they went down to my knees. The problem was, like, my wife's like, well, what's the problem? There would be no problem if the crotch is where it was supposed to be.
Right,
but because
right.
they're still selling them as 5-inch shorts, the crotch is down by my knees. So I couldn't extend my legs. So I wore them around the house whenever I want to do yard work. But that's all they're good for. Because they changed what was an extra large the year that I bought the first pair was now a large.
But so then here's the psychological factor. Did it make you feel good?
No, not at all. Because
When
I
you bought
realized
an Alabama small, you're like, I got it. I'm doing good.
no, no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Because I went to breakfast the next day at Metro Diner. I love that place. If you're ever in Tuscaloosa, I highly recommend it. It's
Okay.
like a diner from. It's like Mal's Diner. If you don't know what that reference is, probably good. That means you're a lot younger than I am.
Okay.
But it's like a good old fashioned diner, and they give you a good breakfast. The problem is like,
I'll have a good breakfast.
yeah, I looked around at the people in there. It's like, now I understand why I wear an Alabama small. Because everybody,
Dude.
people were my height, but they were about 3 times the size of me.
Like width and depth. Yeah.
And hey, man, you live your life how you want to. I know that in my family, in my genetics, that if I don't watch what I eat and take care of myself, I'm turning 50 this year. If I don't watch what I eat, there's a very good chance that I will be dead within the next 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
Because that's the lifespan of the men in my family.
Dang, bro. Yeah, well, I mean, goal should be to be an Alabama extra small.
So, well, I'll stick with the small. Because of my shoulders, I can't lift. Well, I can lift some, but not. I'm not jacking up 225 standing shoulder press anymore. Seated shoulder press. I'm not bench pressing 315, 355 anymore. I can't. My shoulders just can't take that.
Yeah.
When I go for a run, I have to tape it up with the KT tape.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, I still want to work out. I don't want to be. So we were talking about my pole vault, right? I did 12.6 when I was a kid. Well, my pole vault weight was 120 pounds.
Oh, dude.
That was my track weight. My normal weight throughout the year was about 135. But for track season, it would go down to 120.
Wow.
Because I ran the 800, I ran the mile, I ran the 2 mile, and I did the pole vault. So.
Dang, dude. Yeah,
Right
like,
now-
as you get older, it's not, your body's not as kind to you as it once was.
I'm 188. If I go by the BMI, it's still if I gain 2 pounds, I'm now obese. Right now, I'm just fat. And
Crazy,
BMI
bro.
was created back in the 50s. Like, get the hell out of here, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, it's the same thing though with military, height and weight standards. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying that we should go so far to like just allow everybody to be uh, fat, but that's the one thing too. It also, I do believe appearance and ability should factor into like what you do, because it's like, bro, I know bigger guys that would just absolutely smoke things. It's like, oh, then why do they have to get taped? Come on. I mean, they crush that dude that's rail thin and doesn't have to get weight and tape, but he sucks at physical activity. You know?
So I totally understand what you're saying and I value your opinion. And to that, I say, who cares
Yeah, heck yeah,
for the
heck
military
yeah.
side? I'm talking about my life and
Yeah,
about me,
yeah,
my
yeah.
quality of life.
Well, see, so you're more retired than I am. I still
Yeah,
sometimes revert back to soldier stuff, and then
yeah.
I have to kindly remind myself, as you did, who cares? Because it doesn't matter. But
Because
I would like to go back to the mental health thing just for a little bit, um, because as we touch on it, right, and you can tell too, like you do things that help you, make you happy, de-stress, and like enjoy your life. And I think um, sometimes that's a journey. You're not always gonna know exactly. I mean, sometimes you might know what you exactly like, and you can go hopefully do those things. But it is super important to find those things that do bring you, peace, rest, something that's gonna make you happy. Right, like right when I retired, I went and tried to go rock climbing. Rock climbing is not my jam. I boogered up my shoulder really bad. Probably gonna have surgery on it. But hey, I was trying. I love the outdoors, right? Being in God's creation, seeing these rock faces and a good challenge. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. No, because I'm short. Like it's not a short man's game. It's really not. But anyways, but then like trying out other things that bring about peace and finding what's really gonna help you along your journey as you kind of fix yourself. Um, but if like people, and we talked about this earlier, how much capital, human capital, do you expend? Let's say you don't suffer from any of this. Let's say that you are just like, wow, this is really interesting stuff. Yeah, I got some friends or some dudes I know that could really benefit from, all these things that we're talking about, blah, blah, blah. But like, how much human capital do you put into it? Like, when is enough enough? Whatever it may be, but it will depend on the individual. At the end of the day, it's an individual choice to take individual actions, right?
yeah,
And so that's, I like I would encourage people, of course, like talk to folks, like encourage them. Um, Maybe sometimes you might have to call somebody that really can help that individual, something like police or whatever it may be, or mental health professional or whatever, because if they're not going to do it themselves and they're a danger to themselves and others, of course you need to call and get help. But that constant encouragement and reminder is definitely, I'd say, a good thing and beneficial. It's worth the value, but you can't burn yourself out. Some folks will be unreachable in the sense that they have zero desire to change. They have zero desire to want help. They have zero desire, all of these types of things. And then you need to make that decision like, well, you know what? At least I tried. At least I tried.
yeah,
Can't say that I didn't, right? Because it's like you get
yeah,
one listen for 1 second. At least if you tried once, hey, buddy, go get help. At least you did do something.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And you know, um, the people that are resistant to going and getting help because they're like, "Well, how's this going to make me look? It's going to make me look weak." I I try to explain this to my family when I went back out to California. It's like the military is like junior high,
Mm.
right? It's you're in the military and you think everybody's your friend or yeah, we're pals. Or it's like And then when you retire, then you see how many people have called you, how many people have you had lunch with, how have you heard from anyone? These so-called friends, and then you
Yeah.
stop and you think about it. Well, when I was in, did we really do anything together? Well, we'd go to lunch. It's like, well, no shit, because you were in the same unit, you were on the same
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
It's like that's not friendship. That's called being coworkers.
Mm.
Like in junior high, I explained to you when I went to the Rose Bowl, I took Jesse because Jesse's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
My sister thought it was the kid I grew up with. It's like we were best friends because we grew up on the same street,
Mm.
because we went to the same school and we were in the same classes. That's it. Once we were free of that, it's like, haven't heard from that guy in like 15 years. And guess what? I'm in no rush to talk to him.
Mm.
And that's fine. We grow and we progress, and some people we take with us and some people we just leave behind.
Yeah.
That sounds rude. That sounds mean. But
That's real,
did they take us with them? No, they left us too.
Right.
That's okay. There's 8 billion people on this planet. I cannot be friends with 8 billion people.
Yeah, that's true.
So, just
facts.
my art up here, right? That's
Dragon Ball Z?
Majin Vegeta, and I have Van Gogh, right? You can't see this, but I have Limit Breaker Vegeta, and I have a painting that my daughter did when she was younger, up, right? So those are things that I like. I have this crazy pink bear up here. You can't see it, but it's you can see my granddaughter's octopus right here, right?
Uh-huh.
And my Star Trek picture that I took at the last GalaxyCon that I went to.
Uh-huh.
And, in the Army, people would, oh, you're a nerd. It's like, those people that would make fun of me, haven't heard from them. And guess what?
Yep.
Probably never will.
Yep.
So who cares? Who
Yep.
cares? Like, if you need help, go get help.
Yep.
If you're worried about what people are going to say, those people don't care about you anyway.
Yeah.
So why would you care about their opinion?
Yeah, no, it's true because I typically don't care about necessarily myself, right? Like I could have, if I was by myself, it would have been probably a lot worse for me. But I absolutely love and care about my wife and kids, and I do really respect and value my wife's opinion. So when that moment came where she's like, "Look, dude, you need help," of course. Well, I really care about her, so obviously I need to go do something because I don't want to lose her. I don't want to lose the kids, and so that's that thing. So and then finding like self-worth, right? Like everybody has some kind of value, right? Like if you enjoy just like really simple things, it's the same thing. Who cares, right? Because I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I enjoy what I enjoy. That's why I don't like, you really like college football. I could give a rat's butt about sports. Don't care. I have zero desire about sports. That's the kind of guy I am. I enjoy other things. If you wanted to talk about the Lord or I don't know, I'm kind of getting into fly fishing. It's really peaceful. I'll do a shameless plug. I don't get any money from, of course not, because it's a, what do you call it? Anyways, Project Healing Waters. It's a veteran outfit that takes vets fly fishing, and usually everything is free. Like, I don't have a fishing pole, right? Like a fly fishing pole, because it's a lot different. But they provided all that. Like when you go out to the trips. And so I find myself, I really like the outdoors. Like today, so yeah, I know you like golf. I never went golfing, but you know what I played today? Frisbee golf. It was dope. It was dope, dude. It was dope. It was super easy. My body could, functionally do it. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But it's finding those things that make you happy, and you got to find value in what you love and has value to you, and just keep pushing forward, I mean, I don't know. For real.
Well, so this is what I was explaining to my sister, right? For a lot of years, I just hated myself, right? I just did not want to exist, right? And I would tell myself I was garbage,
Okay.
piece of crap, right? I was useless, and go so on
Sure.
and so on, right? And I would tell myself that every day, every year, like at Christmas time, I would write, like a sheet of paper of why I was useless and how I embarrassed and disgraced my family.
Oh,
I saved
wow.
I saved like 10 of them, right?
Really?
Yeah. So for 10 years I did that, and I would read it every year to see like how I had changed, and it didn't. Each one got worse. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Each one was worse,
Hmm.
and so to tell my sister, like I hear so many people like, if I just stay in there, then one of these days my ship will come in.
Hmm.
Well, that's wishful thinking, Holmes. Like
Yeah.
you need to build your ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go buy a ship.
Right, right.
Sail that SOB into port, man. Figure it out, right? Well, if I told my sister, if I kept telling myself I was garbage, well, what would happen if I told myself you do matter? Just wake up every day, you do matter. Right?
Yeah.
At first it's like, you do matter, you are a good person. No, you're not. That's stupid, right? Well,
Right.
eventually it started, that reaction ended.
Hmm.
And I don't have to wake up and tell myself every day that I'm a good person.
Right.
Now I just realize I'm a person. I'm neither good nor am I bad. I'm a person, and I just try to be the best version of myself that I can be for that day.
Hmm.
You know, because some days I'm going to give you like 100% of my potential. Well, that's not true. Maybe 90%
Yeah,
of
that's
my
not true.
potential. I never give 100%. Never.
That's right.
But there's some days I'm going to only give you like 50%. And you want to know why? Because that's all I can muster that day.
Sure.
Like people I know back in the U.S. say, "What's wrong with that guy? He's an ass." You know, not once did I ever have anyone ask like, "What's wrong? Hey man, can we help you out?
Dude.
Can we talk with you?"
Mm.
It's like people would say he's such an ass.
Mm.
No, I wasn't an ass. I was being as nice as I possibly could that day because that's all I could do to prevent myself from killing somebody that day.
Right.
That's not how people see it. It's like, that guy's just an ass. It's like, maybe there's something going on with him.
Yeah, yeah.
No one ever asked, and that's fine, because I never sought help. I never sought help. So it goes both ways, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and that's why I'm saying, like, now, I don't explain myself to anybody. I don't. Because I'm not wasting time. I'm not wasting precious minutes
Yeah.
of my life on asking anybody's permission or explaining myself.
Yeah.
Go out. I went to the Rose Bowl, right? 93,000 people in that. Somebody who has PTSD and anxiety, pretty rough,
Pretty rough.
right? So I didn't realize how many commercial breaks that there were going to be because when I went to Alabama, there weren't as many commercial breaks.
Hmm.
Well, there were a lot. It was like, I'm going to get up, and I'd get up and go out, right?
Wait, they paused the game for the commercial breaks?
It's worked into the game.
Whoa.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Well, whenever there was a kickoff, they would just extend the time before the next play.
Okay.
You know, it's not like they would like, okay, time out. We have to show a commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
Whenever there was a
Word from our sponsors.
whenever there was a natural break, they would just extend the time so they could show commercials.
Okay.
So when you're at home, you don't even notice it, right? But at the game, it's like there's a lot of goddamn breaks in this, you know, whatever. But for me, when I bought the tickets, I made sure that they were on the edge of the row, so I could get out and not bother anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would do. I would just get out and go and take a break.
Yeah.
Just walk around. The people working there, which I felt at home because, you know, being back in Los Angeles, everybody who worked there in the stadium, they were all Mexicans.
Right, right.
And so they were like, what's wrong with this guy? He's out here like, do you have to pee again? It's like, nah, man, I'm just walking around. It's like, yes, I'm old. I don't have to pee
I'm
every
old.
30
Leave
seconds.
me alone. My heart pills. Come on, man. You know? You don't even know.
And but that's what I did because I don't want to miss out. Didn't want to miss out on life because of whatever I'm carrying.
Mm.
And I'm going to go live my life, right? Like I said, I went to this Nerd Fest, and well, you'd hear like, "Oh, you're such a nerd." It's like, okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Didn't need your assistance before. I don't need it now, and guess what? I never will.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like one thing that's really helped me too. I completely deleted social media. So like I had Twitter and Facebook and, you know, all these things, and then I told my wife one day, I was like, Like, hey, this is pretty sure this is stealing my joy, because it's just because you're so bombarded by all these different things that are going on in the world or whatever it may be. The algorithms are pushing things at you. It's just, there's cares in the world all the way from the other side of the world to maybe your hometown, and it's exhausting. And I don't believe that the human brain was really meant to handle and try to process, especially being a man. I like to solve problems, right? Like I'm like, well, then we should do this, and we should, and then I'm like trying to spend my human capital on, fixing the complex problems of what,
Yeah.
whatever, fluoride in the water or whatever it may be. But yeah, so I had to get rid of that, and so that whole value piece, like when you said you woke up every day and you started to say, like, hey, I am a good person, or I am worth it, or whatever it may be, like that small thing. Um, Mine, for me, like I said, I already said before, it was my wife and my children. But one thing I didn't say was that it is my faith in the Lord, in the Lord Jesus Christ. Like I have found more healing in my relationship with the Lord than I have from meeting with somebody for an hour or getting something injected into my neck or, even the ketamine stuff or whatever it may be. And I'm not saying all that stuff is bad. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that everybody's walk is going to be different. But if you know, going back to those or those deep rooted things that maybe you were brought up in, or if you have faith in the Lord or whatever your faith may be, or whatever it may be, it is a good endeavor to like continue on in those things while you're healing, right? Because I know you, Tony, right? Like I guarantee you, not everything's perfect, right?
No, of course not.
Right. So like, and I don't think I personally, I really do believe I don't think it'll ever be perfect. But it is that daily thing is to be mindful of and to be present in what you're doing to continue on, right? Like I know guys that don't work, that that don't have really much of anything going on, and they're miserable. And for me, it's like, well, no, I want to do these things, and it's because I know it'll set up my family better. I know that like one of my biggest things too. I want to show because I don't kn- I'm not I don't really think high of myself, right? But I want to show my children that no matter what you do in life, you can do it. Like you and I share a similar thing, and I'm not going to go into your personal life, Tony. I'm just saying, like you and I share a similar instance in the military where we may have gotten into some trouble.
Oh no, I've mentioned it multiple
Oh,
times
did
of
you?
how
Okay, okay,
I got booted
yeah,
out of Paraguay
yeah. So I
because
got
now I wear it as a badge. It's like I don't know how many people could get a field grade Article 15 and a Gomar and still get promoted
it's
to first sergeant.
yeah, that's right. No, and seriously, that's awesome for real. But like, um, where was I going with that?
You're telling me
TBIs.
about your stuff of how you
Oh,
overcame
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. So like it's the bounce back, the resilience, the drive to keep going and accomplishing new and better things, right? Because that's like, uh, I found out I had high blood pressure when I was in Arizona, right? And I was trying to lift really heavy weights, had a super bad headache. I mean, crazy bad. I thought I was having a stroke. Go to the ER and they're like, "No, dude, you just have a really bad tension headache." But then, like, like I start feeling my pulse in my neck while I'm going out through the day, and things aren't just great. Well, sure enough, I go to one of the clinics, and I had my blood pressure was crazy high, and like the lady got really scared basically, and was like, "Please sit down, don't
Yeah.
move. I'm gonna go get somebody." Anyways, and then I get on medication, but then going to the doc, it's just the answer like, "Well, don't work out." Well, that's dumb because I enjoy it. I'm not going to stop doing something that I enjoy, especially if it's not smoking crack. So, kick rocks, dude.
So I had the similar thing, but like my blood pressure, like it was a combination of several things, right? One, it was a combination of leaving me as a team sergeant for 5 rotations, right?
Yeah.
And then taking the pre-workout,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so my blood pressure, Rob, you remember old Rob, right?
Yeah.
Sock'em Rob. He took my blood pressure. It's like, uh, uh, like, just say it, Rob. It's like,
Bro,
you might die.
it's not good. It's not
He's
good,
like,
man.
it's like, it's 170 over 110. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're saying it's not 200 yet.
Right.
It's like, this isn't a joking matter.
Yeah.
It's like,
So it's not going to blow up just yet.
so, but once I left the team sergeant position, like it dropped back down to like it like went to 120 over 90.
No
And then-
meds?
No.
Really?
Stop.
That's dope.
Stop taking pre-workout.
Yep.
I never really drank
De-stress.
energy drinks. Yeah, and just remove me from the team sergeant because nobody should be team sergeant for 5 rotations, 6 years. That's
Yeah, no.
insane. And just remove me from that, and it went down to 120 over 80, 115 over 75.
Dude, nice. Huh. Spot on. Turns out I just needed meds, so.
Yeah. And some people are like that. Some people are like that. That's fine. And, you know, I have to watch my diet because diabetes and every cancer known to man runs in my family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the old surgeon, right? What was her name? Anastasia?
Yeah, yeah.
She was just dying for me to be diabetic.
Really?
Yes. She would send me in like once a month for my fasting labs.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, it came in at 107. It's like, so it's not 110. It's like, no, but it's getting real close. It's like it's been like between 102 and 108
Uh-huh.
the past 15 years.
Right, right.
It's like, it's not going up. It's like, yeah, but it's not coming down. It's not like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know you want me to be diabetic, but it's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Let it
Sorry,
go.
it's not going to happen.
Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, I mean, like I said, Bryce, I wanted to have you on here because we have different perspectives on things, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I know religion has always been important to you, and my sisters are like that too. I'm not like that, and my sisters are always asked, like, I'm a cynic, right?
Yeah.
And I explained this to my sisters. It's like, because I've gone to church with them a couple of times when my mom was still alive, because my mom wanted to. It's like, all right, I'll go. And it was hard for me to relate to what they were saying because of where we had been going overseas
Okay.
and seeing a different perspective. It's like the people that I saw in Guyana that still believed in God and the church. It's like those people, that's poor. Or the people that I saw in Colombia or Peru or Iraq.
Yeah.
Right? All those people, that's a level of poverty I had never seen before.
Correct.
I thought I was poor when I grew up in East LA. Turns out I've always been a 1%er. I just never realized it.
Right.
And so going to mass here in the United States, I just not going to listen. Because it's just different.
Okay.
Hearing the word from somebody here in the States who does not understand how lucky they are for being born here in the United States.
Correct.
Because what did I do to earn this life?
Yeah.
Now
seriously.
I have. But when I was born, what did I do?
Yeah.
I was just born.
Yeah. Right place, right time.
Yeah, that's it. Like, chance, pure chance, right? And so for me, it's hard for me to understand that. But I know religion is important to other people. So
Yeah.
I wanted to have somebody else come on here and talk about that. And like I said, I can't because I'm an alcoholic, so I can't
Right.
take pills. I can't. I just have to learn how to. I downloaded the app, the Sounds of the Rainforest, right?
Yeah.
So I can hear the rain at night, right? And it
Yeah,
calms
yeah.
me down, right?
Yeah. White noise, dude.
because I tried those apps where people take a deep breath,
No, nope.
relax, and I get so mad.
Oh yeah, I hate it. And you just look crazy in your car, wherever you may be, like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I want to hit this freaking face or where, boys.
But hearing the fire crackle or the
Yeah.
rain, the waves, you
Yeah.
know, or
Wind.
yeah,
Yeah.
that calms me down, and so I use that stuff. I find other ways to cope and just get through the day and just be as happy as I can, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
And
I wouldn't. I mean, if you wanted to do another, like maybe another time, I could come on your show and give my testimony if you want, or if you had, specific questions, we could do that. If not, not a big deal. It's just like it is. I know I said before I attributed a lot of things to my wife and children, but it really it all came because the Lord loved me. He never gave up on me. He put good, godly, God-fearing people in my path to help me out in my, darkest moments, right? Like when I first got stationed at Fort Bragg, like I was freshly divorced and I had all of the debt because that was the agreement. I was like, just give me all the debt, get out of my life, and I'm going to start fresh. Well, I was a miserable human being and put a gun in my mouth and I was going to end it, right? In a little apartment complex off Fisher frickin' Road, dude. I was going to end it all. And I think I thought about, like, my mom, and then didn't want my buddies to have to, like, clean up my brains. I don't think that's what really happens. It wouldn't have been my, I guess not even my buddies, but because we don't talk. But people I knew back then. And but the Lord got a hold of me in a real way. So, yeah. But anyways, I'll digress off that. But if you wanted to ever dive deeper into that, I would love that.
no, that'd be great. I'd love to have you on again. And I don't want people to think that I don't believe in God. I do, and the reason why I do is because like I told my sisters, right? It's like I know I'm the luckiest person on the planet because nobody else can say they have my family or they have my support system. They have my friends. My sisters aren't as lucky as I am because they can't say that they're their own sister. You can't say that. You can't. They're my sister.
Right.
Sister Maria, I can't say, yeah, I'm my own sister. It's like, no, sorry, bro, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
You might be.
I'm my own best friend.
you're pretty lucky too, but you're not as lucky as I am. And I try to explain this to her. It's like our father, he was rough on us, right? And he would spank us. And when I mean spank, I mean he didn't like he went to town, right?
Sure.
And there was a lot of resentment from all of us growing up. And later on, when we were older, we talked about it. It's like, you understand that this man had a 6th grade education from Mexico, not even the U.S.
Right.
I have all of his passport and his documents from Mexico. He could barely sign his name.
Right? Oh, wow.
He could read because he loved to read. We always saw him read. He never read out loud, so I don't know how long it took him to read.
Okay.
Right? It could have taken him. We would always see him read. I don't know if it took him all night to read one page.
Sure.
And in high school, I'm in calculus. I'm in chemistry and physics. Hey, Dad, can you help me out with this? No.
Right.
My mother couldn't help me either. Right.
Right.
And they did the best they could. But he was a man of few words. But when he was mad, he didn't speak English. My Spanish was piss poor. He didn't want us to speak Spanish because we were American.
Oh, dang.
Right? So it was hard. And people were like, how did you communicate? Well, it's not like my father was a man of many words.
Right.
And, when he's mad at you, you kind of figure it out from his tone. Right? And if he says, bring me a screwdriver, you don't know what a screwdriver is, just bring the whole damn toolbox.
Right, yeah.
Right? And then he can get whatever he wants.
Here you go.
Right? And it's like when he says, tráeme un cerveza, right? You kind of figure out, cerveza, beer. Right? And, but again, afraid of heights. I'm afraid of just about everything, man. Right? Just about everything. Right? People ask about how'd you jump out of airplanes? I'm afraid. I didn't say I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, how are you a jump master? Still afraid.
Yeah.
Okay. Do it. Right? And what would I hear? I'd hear my father. Vete la chingada, pinche pendejo cabrón. Right? To get my attention. And then I would hear my mom's voice. It's all right. We're here with you. Where does that? What am I trying to say? God gave me those parents because He knew what I needed to get through the hard times. I'm not the type of person that you can just tell me, "Hey, well, just do this." Nah, I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
My professors in my PhD program are having a hard time because I don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do what I want. Like, well, you shouldn't argue with your professors. Then maybe you should find some other students.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah. Especially in an institution of higher learning, how can argument or not be acceptable?
Right, like, what I just find it funny is it's like I understand where you guys are coming from, but I figured you out. Like, you need me to complete my degree. You need me to take all these classes because it's an institution for higher learning, but you also want to make the cheddar, right?
Yes.
You need to make the money. So you need me to come back to take all these classes. So how about you stop fighting with me so I'll take these classes? Because, I don't know if you understand this, there are thousands of universities out there that'll be more than happy to have a combat veteran pursuing a PhD in their program.
100%.
And, well, yeah, but you can't view it that way. Well, sorry to tell you, that's how I'm viewing it. And so I'm like a dog that was released from his chain after I got out of the army, right?
Yeah.
That's what I equate it to, right?
Like, I can piss over here, I can piss over here.
It makes life a little bit harder for other people, but at the same time, they see another perspective.
Yeah.
Because maybe as a professor, you should change a little bit as well. None of us are too old to change.
Yeah. Facts, dude.
So.
And I think that like raw too, that raw stuff too, like telling people how it is. It's really liberating, but it'll come off, maybe brash or hard, but I love it because I don't have to do things now. Like I can tell people no, and if they want my opinion, we'll buckle up because I'm gonna tell you. You asked. You asked. Not. I'm gonna give you the truth, and you may or may not like it, and that's it.
Don't ask the question if you're not ready for every possible answer.
That's correct. That's what I tell my kids that.
There was a guy who asked me to look over his resume, right? He was an HR guy in the Army. He was getting out. And so I said, well, you don't have any education, you don't have any certs. It's like, it's going to be, like, you're trying for an upper position. It's like,
yeah.
I wish you luck. It's like, but I don't think it's going to happen. Like, honestly, it's like, I don't know what the hiring manager is looking for. It's like, but you don't have anything down there. It's like, well, I mean, what do you know? It's like, okay. It's like, look, if you want me to tell you that there's a line outside of Fort Liberty, Fort Bragg, waiting for you, that all these companies are just waiting for the day that you get out of the military, just tell me that, and I will blow sunshine up your ass.
Yeah.
I will make you feel better. And then when it doesn't happen, you can come back and I'll tell you, hey, I'll pat you in the back and say, wow, it's a conspiracy. I'll tell you whatever you need to hear to make you feel better. All right?
Yeah.
But if you're asking for my opinion, well, I'm giving you my opinion.
Yep.
Or here's the crazy thing, just don't ask for my help.
Yep.
Because I'm not charging you anything. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah.
So you can leave.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And that's another thing too, like I think I would have I don't regret how everything played out. One thing I wish I would have known, and I think I picked it up there at the end when I was in my retirement window, is that at the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what schools you went to. Nobody cares how many times you jumped out of a plane. Nobody cares. When I interact with civilians, they may, if I tell them, yeah, I'm retired military, then a couple questions may come up, and I might tell them. But generally, nobody cares. They don't care. Nobody. So I think knowing that a lot sooner, too, would have made me a lot happier in the military. And I would have focused maybe some more, human capital energy type stuff into other things.
So I got the, how'd you get a job so fast? It's like,
Why did
wow.
I? Oh, you.
No,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
when I got out, people were asking, how'd you get a job so fast that pays you that amount? It's like, well, here's a crazy thing, buddy. When we were in South America and you were trying to be Federico Suave and have 10 girlfriends, I was working on my master's degree.
Right.
And then when I was done with that, I decided to work on another one. And you were still going to the discotheque.
Discotheque.
And it's like, maybe you should have taken a break and not hung out with Benny Goodtimes.
Well, there's that too. Yeah.
Benny
Yep.
Goodtimes. I refer to that person as Benny Goodtimes a lot on this podcast because he is without a doubt the dumbest person I've ever met in my life.
Uh-huh.
And I was amazed that he could even find his way to work every day. Good on him for making it to the end or wherever he is now. Best of luck. Benny Goodtimes, if I ever see you in the street and you see me, you can just look at each other and look away and pretend we didn't see each other and just keep on
Right.
going. Because I
Yeah.
don't need you in my life, buddy.
Yep.
I wish you the best, but not only do I not need you in my life, I don't want you in my life.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
no
it's-
hard feelings. It's just I don't have the time for that anymore.
100%. And see, that's that freedom, man.
Yeah.
You at work, you're stuck. But now, dude, I agree with you 100%. Because if I don't want to deal with you, or we never really had a solid relationship, goodbye, man. I don't care. Like, live a good life. I really hope you do. But I am not giving you my time because it's precious to me. I tell people that at, when I go to like places in town too. I've gotten a lot of like people off guard. I'm like, this is something I'll never get back. The way you're wasting my time, I'll never get back. So how about we knock off whatever the crap is going on, do what I've asked you to do or whatever it may be, and let's get it done. Because you would feel the same way if I was providing a service to you. So stop. And they're like,
Yeah.
what?
So I gotta admit, when we purchased this house, I was an ass to the loan officer and to the realtor. Because it's not like there were a whole lot of people dying to buy this house at a 6% interest,
Right.
right? And actually, it was higher, right? I got it down to 6%. Like, well, how about 7%? No, I'm not paying 7%. But they all were acting like it was 2020 or 2019, where they're doing me a favor. It's like, not so much.
Yeah, right.
When we did the inspection, I left work to come check out the house, right? It's about 40 minutes away and then 40 minutes back. So
Yeah.
I got here, the inspectors were here. It's like, well, we have to wait for the realtor. It's like, is she purchasing this house? No. It's like, is she paying for the inspection? Well, no. Show me the inspection.
Yeah.
I'm not buying this house. It's like, you don't want to wait for her? It's like,
What-
I know I'm speaking English. So you have about 5 seconds to start showing me the inspection.
Yeah.
I'm getting in my car, leaving, and I'm not buying this house.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. And the realtor showed up and she's like, well, why'd you start? It's like, I don't need you.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's true.
I didn't. The thing with the realtor, I'm not going to mention her name, but she, when we first started, she told my wife, wow, if you don't have the money to put down for the house, it's like, maybe you shouldn't be looking. And I was like,
Nice assumption.
who are you?
Yeah.
So I was an ass to her the rest of the time. If that's how you're going to treat my wife, then yeah, I'm going to be an ass to you.
Oh, for sure.
And the loan officer was just, I had to go to London for two weeks for work.
Nice.
I said, I cannot be bothered for these 2 weeks. I could, I just didn't want to.
Uh-huh.
I kept getting messages, emails, like, he called, it's like, hey, leave me alone.
Do not call this number again.
Because it's like, no, dude. Now, today I went to Dunkin' Donuts, right? After I went to Bosley, after I got the good news.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And so I want to go get a coffee and what is it? Apple fritter.
Okay.
And the girl behind there was so stressed. She was like, because they had a line that was like coming out of the Dunkin' Donuts and going into the street, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God. And so I waited like 10 minutes for her to pour me a coffee and put like just creamer in it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna get upset at this. Like you looking like you're having a pretty bad day. Like
Yep.
I had a Dunkin' Donuts, man. Like I can wait 10 minutes.
Push me, man. Push me and
It's
see what happens.
it's it's a federal holiday. I just came from Bosley. What am I
Yeah.
doing?
Right.
Nothing.
Yep.
I was like, I can wait 10 minutes for a coffee. I'm not too worried about it. Like,
Yeah.
so it depends on the situation. You know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I'll agree to that. Because I mean, was it there's one apple fritter and she's oh, oops, and now you're out your apple fritter.
How much is that girl making
Yeah.
compared to how much does a realtor make for doing
Oh,
absolutely
dude.
nothing
For sure.
for this house?
Yeah.
So
Sorry, you probably heard my little one. My bad.
no, that's it. I don't know if you can hear my chair, but it squeaks. And that's
Oh,
a
is that what
constant.
that is?
That's a constant in this podcast.
Oh, I thought you were, just
My joints.
old.
Well, I am, but it's a chair.
Sweet.
I don't have any cartilage in my shoulders anymore, so they don't squeak.
Right.
It's just there's nothing there, and
That's
my
crazy,
left hip
bro.
too. My left hip is all bone on bone now.
Ugh.
So,
Yeah.
but we're going on about an hour now, so we usually do shout outs, and if there's anything you want to promote, you want to give a shout out to anyone?
No. I
No?
really, I mean, the only thing that I would say is another person that people could look up that's pretty big into veteran mental health and treatment modalities is Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan has his own podcast. He's a great guy when it comes to taking serious veteran treatment modalities. So I would just encourage that. Like, he's got, I mean, we're talking, he goes all the way into psychedelics and all kinds of things that I'm too afraid to try for myself. So, because I know myself, yeah, and I don't need to be chasing the white buffalo or whatever it may be.
I'm glad you said a great guy and not a good guy.
Bro, I can't say that because right
A
away
good guy.
you'd be like,
Oh,
I'm
man.
not looking that up. I'm not looking it up.
Forget it.
He's a dirtbag.
If anyone's listening and you were not in the military, specifically there at Fort Bragg, if anybody ever said he's a good guy, that meant that he was garbage and they didn't want anything to do with him, and they were just trying to pawn off their problems onto you.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I
if
was
you
always
ever
the good
hear-
guy.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I hope not. But no, brother, I don't really have any shout outs or whatever. Good to go.
Yeah, I just wanted, you mentioned him earlier, Mike. He works at the Sockham Schoolhouse. I just want to say thanks to Mike. I'm hoping that he'll come on here. But like I told Mike, it's like, I don't know if anybody else listened to him, but I did.
Yeah, oh yeah.
When I went,
Same.
and especially when he gave us the class, and he said, "You see all these things? Like, that's my identifier for air assault." You know how many people asked me for my air assault certificate when I was looking for a job? Yeah.
0.
Big fat goose egg.
Big old goose egg.
And it's like, so go to college, get your degree.
Yep.
And so whatever else, I at least paid attention to that, because I was going to stop after my first master's, and
Yeah.
every time I go back, it's like, if you have the time and you have the money, you have the resources, keep going.
Yep.
Okay. And then plus just hearing his struggles and him talking about how he went to go for help.
Yeah.
That helped me along too. So, Mike, if you're listening to this, if you're not, just want to
Yeah,
say
thanks,
thanks,
Mike.
buddy, and hope you come on here. I know all my emails say Antonio, but my name's Tony. That's how you remember me. I'm the short, fat Mexican who knew how Iron Maiden was when nobody else did. That's what.
Okay.
That's how he referred. He's like, how does a short Mexican know who Iron Maiden is, and none of you white guys know?
Yeah. No, Tony, thanks for having me on, man. I enjoyed it.
All right. So if you're out there and you're listening, just remember you do have something that makes you special. You do have something that makes you unique. Just identify what that is, maximize it to its fullest potential, and I know you'll be successful. So until next time. Oh, I do want to give a shout out to Taco. He's on my board of directors. Taco, that's Matt's dog. The
Are
French
you
bulldog.
serious?
My board of directors consists of my daughter, my granddaughter, and Taco.
I mean, Taco's more famous than I am, so I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not even famous, so.
So I want to give a shout out to Taco. We miss you, buddy.
All right.
Tell your dad to post more pictures of you on Instagram. All right. So until next time, guys, take it easy. Zot, zot, zot. And roll tide.